But that's how I do it. Like everything's like there, and there's stuff on the back too. You can't even see all the writing on this
Okay,
thing.
so this is perfect, B. Okay, so let's hold on this for just a second. Everybody, as you guys come in, what you're looking at is you're looking at B's checklist, and every one of us do things differently. Some people can do completely electronic checklists and things, and they go on their computers and they can, work that way. Some people physically have to print it out and have something physical. So whatever your thing is, do whatever works for you. This right here is similar to kind of I'm kind of like this, and this right here is to me somebody who's got all over the placeness. Okay, and I identify with this because if I could show you my notebooks and stuff right now, they look exactly like this. They have some order, they have to have some structure, but I'm going to take and I'm going to write on it. I'm going to create my own little system. So B, walk us through what you have done. What is all this change to Wellman Notary Service? So you changed your business name. Walk us through your checklist.
Yeah, I had to go through because when we went through this, I realized that umbrella name, Wellman Business Ventures, was not going to work. And it wasn't even the name that I was using, which was Be Ready Mobile Notary. And
Right.
since I want to do multiple things, which are, the permit runner, the notary services, Ron, all sorts of stuff, I didn't want to just limit it to just notary. I wanted to put services in there.
Right.
So that opened up a whole ball of wax right now because I am kind of in a standstill. I can't really move forward or I can't do loan signings. I can't do anything until the IRS gets fixed.
Okay.
And I contacted them and I had to actually mail it in. There's a fax number. Everybody keeps telling me there's a fax, but when I talk to them, they're like, nope, you've got to send it in. It's got to be manual. You've got to put this information in there, and I've got to change the name from one to the other so that I can have that entity. And the reason I wanted to do that is because there's a possibility I might do an LLC, but it's for another completely separate, different business. And I don't want to start doing all these LLCs and start paying all this money out until I know where this is going to go. So this is my one free EIN for the sole proprietorship.
Okay.
So
Let me hold you right there for those people who are probably just coming on and maybe they don't really know exactly what we're talking about right now. So basically what B is doing is she's going over her checklist. So last time when we did this, let me put my camera on so I can see y'all. There you are. Last time when we did this, some of us like B and me and a lot of us have separate businesses, and B had one big umbrella business and she had all of her other businesses under it, but she was using another name to conduct business. So she is running us through her unraveling that. And the main partner she has in that unravel is the IRS. So she's at a place right now where she's communicated with them. They're getting it all figured out. Now she's going to go on to the next thing, which is basically, you've already got your domain, right?
yep, I purchased my domain. I've got that. And I'm actually creating the domain myself. I have a WordPress site that I have access to that I've used before, so I know how to set it up. So I'm using that. I'm primarily I do articles and SEO and all of that. So I'm a blogger. I love to write. So that's what my main focus is going to be on.
Okay.
So I'm setting up a checklist and everything. So that's part of the domain thing. That's a big whole other side of it too, because that's where I'm going to focus on. And then my G Suite, I'm going to get a lot of things all at once. So the G Suite, I'm also going to do the EIN, I'm going to do the anytimemailbox.com, which I can't remember who said that last time, because right now I have UPS. And UPS is pretty expensive, and I'm not really using it for anything other than just an address. And I want to have a physical address for the DUNS number because I need that too. But the Anytime Mailbox is actually a lot cheaper. It's like $10 a month, and it's about 15 minutes away, so I can actually physically go pick up stuff from there. But you can start it virtually, and so I'm just going to start all those two things all at once: the G Suite, the Anytime Mailbox. I changed the Google My Business. I've already gone through the change. I think it's still under review. It was this morning. So I've changed that to the Wellman Notary Services. I have the.
And I'm gonna pop in there on the reason that B is getting the DUNS, and the reason she's getting the EIN is because B is probably planning on doing some, going after some government contracts. Am I right, B?
Yeah, yeah, that and eventually I want to do a signing service, but online and specifically geared towards wills and trusts and as a subscription service.
Right.
So
Nice.
that's the big picture. So set it up now. I'm willing to wait these couple of weeks to get it all going rather than having to do it later. So it's
And
worth it for me.
exactly. And so y'all that are listening that are kind of thinking, okay, I don't want to get into this notary business and turn into an employee for myself. I want to get into this notary business, and yes, I'm going to have to do the work at the beginning, but I want to set it up from a point of view of in the future, I can be in Hawaii and I can have someone managing this and everybody have their own roles. And so think when you're setting up, you know, when it takes you maybe a couple of 2 or 3 extra weeks to get out the box, because you have to wait on the IRS to get your EIN because you want the EIN and the name of the business that's going to be doing all this. It's okay. It's okay, because the long haul is by you waiting now and maybe it taking you a little longer to get started. In the future, everything will be set up like it should be. So B, kudos on that. Now, what to finish, I'm sorry, I just wanted to pop in. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You were doing you did the GoDaddy, and originally I was thinking about doing that, but since I've done my own before, I'm going to do that. The one thing I do tell people, like when anybody asks anything, I always say, you know, do a name check. You can do name.ck.com. I think it's name.ck, but just name check, and then also attest, TESS, which is on the USPTO website. You want to go into there and check for trademarks under your name. You can look at that. It looks for all federal trademarks. It looks for logo trademarks. So when you're setting this up, you want to make sure that your name isn't already trademarked, because then, you know, you invest all this time, somebody can go in and say, nope, I'm sorry, I'm, you know, one night stands notary service. I'm sorry, it's already taken, you know, but you invested all that time to do that. So that's one thing that people probably want to check on that. So name check, and then TESS, which is the USPTO website, to check all that. And then as far as Facebook, I already started the Facebook. It's not active right now. I'm just creating my little logos for it and stuff. Instagram, I haven't started that yet, but I will. YouTube, I'm not sure yet how I'm going to run that. If I want to do it as like a compilation of stuffs where I'm not showing my face, because obviously you can see I don't like showing my face, or if I'm going to do it as a like a learning type thing. You did mention TikTok, but I also want to mention Reddit. So if you're not active on Reddit, that's another thing. Like you can go in there. I mean, just to give you an example, I joined a construction one just to start seeing what people are talking about with permits, and people are talking about permit running. So if you go in there, Reddit has just about everything under the sun. You don't want to go in there and start, you know, hey, look at my business, or hey, do this. You want to use it kind of like you do, I guess, like Clubhouse or Facebook, where you're starting to connect with people and just get some feedback, ideas. And then you also want to contribute whatever you have, but don't like automatically start going in there and asking for stuff.
Gotcha.
So Reddit's pretty decent. My LinkedIn, I'm still working on that. Determine the target audience. We discussed that last time. Like I said, I want to do a subscription base, targeting the attorneys for wills and that kind of stuff. And then my next step would be to do it as an remote online notary, and have a business so that I have other notaries doing that with my online subscription set up. So that's my whole big thing there. So how do I get this off my screen?
Love all of that. That was awesome, you guys. That is what you did. And if if that's not your thing, that's fine. But I want you guys, as far as thinking about having a business that you're going to create that does not involve you, set it up that way. Set your business up the way that you see it going, even though it may not be that way right now. So great job, B. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Is anybody else? Let's see who else. Vanessa, are you prepared to share your screen and let us see what you've got going on?
No, I just have questions for B.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so You said that you changed your name. So was your name an LLC before?
No, I'm not doing the LLC. In Texas, it costs $300 to do the LLC, which is fine, but I'm not making any money and I've shelled out quite a bit. I started out with the loan signing service. So, I started out with that. That was, over $500 plus the printer and all this. So I've invested quite a bit into this, and I'm not sure exactly which path I was going to take. So I was under a different name. It was like an umbrella, which I thought maybe I could put everything, because again, I write books, I do SEO, I write articles, do digital stuff, and now I'm doing the notary. So I thought I could put it all under one, and it's not going to work. So there are other businesses I'm going to have to do LLCs for, but for this one, since I'm not sure and I'm not making money with it yet, I wanted to keep this as my sole proprietor. And you can get one free. You can get multiple, but only one of them is free. After that, you have to do the LLC. And again, in Texas, it's $300. So I called the IRS, spoke to them for a little while, and then they suggested basically since I haven't made any money, I haven't paid taxes on it. There's nothing against it. There's no lien or anything. There's nothing tied to this number yet. All I had to do was I had to send an actual physical letter via the mail, snail mail. Once they get it, they will process it. So that can take, they said, anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
And I sent it off 2 weeks ago. And like I said, I'm willing to wait that amount of time, which means I can't do loan signing. I can't do notary services unless I do it under my social. And right now I have that EIN, that W-9. I have submitted it to all the different places and everything. So that means I have to go back and I have to resubmit all of that. So I'm not going to do it twice. So I'm just going to wait, and I'll do it when it's all said and done. And that's fine for me. Some people can't wait, but I can. So that's my whole reasoning for that.
And then my other question is can you put the names of those 2 websites that you mentioned in the chat?
The tests and the name check, yeah, I'll find those and I'll put them in the chat here in a minute.
All right, then that was it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, no worries. Okay.
Any more questions? Anybody? All right. Okay, so let's get started. 102 is here. Way to bring us in, B. That was a way to bring us in from 101 to 102. A lot of you guys have posted already, and you will be getting an email with the checklist, the 102 checklist that I'm actually working on right now, because you guys are, keeping me ahead of the game and keeping me busy. So I'm kind of like on my toes trying to stay in front of you guys. So let me share my screen. Tess, if you want, I'm sorry, Tess, B, if you want to, I can go and look at that website whenever you get it put into the chat. We'll go take a look at that. So
yeah, I'm actually putting the tests in here right now.
Okay, perfect.
That one.
So we set up our foundation of who we are as a business with Checklist 101. Checklist 102 is about getting ready to go market to the audience that we need to market to based on what we decided. You determined your business model, whether you're going to be a hybrid model with both loan signings and general notary work, whether you're going to focus more on loan signings or focus more on general notary work. You determined who your target audience was going to be. If you're going to be doing general notary work, your target audience may be contractors for the notary permit runner stuff, right? So you're starting to connect the dots of what you want to do, because you've already done enough listening and watching of videos to kind of know what you want to do, what your comfort level is. So now it's time to determine first, before you start spending any money on anything, is knowing who your customer is. Okay. Now that you've set your business up, you've got your name, got your domain, got your email. Those are all of the tools that you were about to begin to use to communicate to who? Your customer. So now you need to know who that is, right? We kind of know an idea of where they are because we kind of have a target idea of what we want to focus on. But knowing that and drilling down to who is 2 different things. So in the event of me being interested in doing general notary work, that's my model, right? My business model is going to be GNW or hybrid. So I've got to fill 2 spots. I've got to fill some loan signing spots, and I've got to fill some general notary work spots. Well, I have to break that hybrid down. Who loan signings? Who is my customer in loan signings? Let's give me some examples of who would be a loan signing customer. Anybody?
The signing services,
Yeah.
Signing
Title.
services,
title companies.
title companies. You know what? Let me start a little outline. How about that? Because this is going to be really good. If we don't, a lot of people don't take the time and understand who their customer is. They just start doing a whole bunch of blanketed marketing and throwing a bunch of, you know, noodles at the ceiling, kind of, so to speak. But when you are a little fish in a big pond, you can't do that. Okay. So this is going to be, who is my customer? All right, and I'm going to share my screen. It's just a simple outline, and we're going to take it back to the top. And of course, you guys know you'll get a copy of this once I get done with it. All right, so based on my business model, we ended up, just so you guys know, last week with the, let me share that real quick. Ended out last week with determining your business model and target audience. All right. So we're basing our marketing on those decisions. So we went around the room and we did all that. Now that's kind of where we're picking up. So I just wanted to make sure. So who is the customer? Target audience. And we had also business model. Let me do it this way. Business model goes on top. And in the business model, we had, this is a table. You guys, this is your crazy instructor. This is how I create. Okay, so we had business model was, so the business model, yeah. I had hybrid, I had loan signings, I had GNW, and I have hybrid. All right, and then over here, we're gonna have target audience. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk, Vanessa. Okay, so for your target audience, say you're doing GNW. Should I change that around? How should I set up my table? Because I want to cross-reference the the different types of models with the target audience. Any suggestions?
Maybe you should put your titles up top, the top row, maybe for business model and target audience,
Okay.
and then make a list underneath them, I guess. Instead of having 4, maybe you just need 2 of them, you know, and make them longer, I guess.
Okay. I love it. See, sometimes it's good to have a set of objective set of eyes, look at it, because sometimes you don't need what you are thinking.
Yeah.
You need. There we go. Thank you for that. But the thing about it is, this target audience is going to be determined by the business model. We're going to break this down even further, I feel, in a minute. So let's just talk about business model. We got loan signings. And then we have GNW. And then we've got the hybrid, which is both. All right. Target audience for loan signings. We said, what was that?
Signing services.
Okay.
Title agencies.
Dealerships as well.
Ah. Okay.
Attorneys.
Now, attorneys, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Are attorneys going to get you loan signing business?
Yes, because they'll
attorneys
use
say-
the directories. They use the directories and they'll contact some of the agents directly.
Oh, okay. Didn't know.
And the general public does that too. Sometimes they'll get their paperwork in the mail and then they have to go find the notary. So they'll go to the directories and they'll call you out to ask you how much you charge for the loan signings as well.
Nice. Did not know that. That's good info. Anybody, any other group of people that would be a good target audience for loan signings?
What about
Real
loan
estate.
officers?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Say it again.
Lenders.
Very good.
Yeah, I said loan officers too. I don't know if that's.
Okay.
Yeah. Real estate agents. And then also the builders, like those, you go into the builders, you know, the little houses and all the people there. I don't know what you call that.
Escrow.
Yeah.
What about the reverse mortgage companies, Monica?
That's exactly right. They fall under loan officers, lenders. Right. Good job, you guys. Look at y'all. Okay. Is there anybody else in that who else could we go to for loan signing? Is that it? That's just about it? All right. Let's go to G&W. Who would we target for that steady flow of general notary work based on what, Netta?
Hospitals. And them assistant hospitals, assisted living.
Jails, construction companies.
Tow yards.
Churches, colleges, schools.
Mm-hmm.
The financial sector. But I don't know what you would call that.
That's perfect.
I believe they may be skip tracing. That's to find people who are owed money.
Now tell me how that flows with the notary, the general notary work.
Well, the finder of the person that is owed money
Mhm.
has to have documents notarized by the person who is receiving the money, and in order to make sure that they are releasing funds to the correct party, they have to have documents notarized.
Is that like
Like
a
bail bondsman?
structured
No,
settlement?
no, it's skip tracing is like, say for instance, you owed, you had a house, and for whatever reason you lost it, it was foreclosed on or something like that. After all of the finances are settled, it may be an indicator that the previous homeowner is owed money, but moved away. And now it's another person's job, the skip tracer's job, to find that individual to give them the money. And in that particular instance, once they find the person, the documents that need to be signed off on and notarized are sent to the individual, or sent to a notary, actually, to meet with the person who's receiving the money, to make sure that his ID is in check. He is the person that is owed the money, and he's provided proper documentation to substantiate that. And then you notarize the documents and you send it back to the skip tracer so that they can get the funds released to the party who's owed the money. You guys never heard of that before?
Yeah, it's called tax deed surplus. Yeah, I'm actually looking into doing that. So that's another
Okay.
side hustle business. Yeah, so actually, yeah, it's a thing.
I
It is
hadn't
a
heard of it.
thing where, yeah,
I hadn't heard of it from the skip tracing point of view, like you delivered it, Antoinette, but yeah, I've heard of it. And so that's interesting. I'm glad you shared that with us, because I didn't know that that's how, I knew skip tracing was involved, but I didn't know there was somebody called a skip tracer, and I didn't know that they needed a notary.
Right.
So you just really
yeah,
that
they,
side
and
of
they,
Yeah.
Right, and they reach out to find the notary, and it sometimes it could be someone from another state trying to reach the party that lives in the state that you're in, and so they'll do a search for a notary in that area so that they can locally meet with the party who's expected to receive the funds.
Okay. Okay. So that's just another area. So here's the other thing I want us to be careful of. When we move from our checklist 1 to checklist 2, where we begin to identify who our customer is, we want to target, because we don't have a lot of money to do this marketing, right? We're all on a tight budget, right? So when we start marketing, we want to market to the flow of money. There are a lot of general notary work opportunities that are going to be maybe they will happen, maybe they won't type money. We don't want, that's what we're about to do now. We're about to look at this list and we're going to say, hey, where is the flow? The flow is when it's steady. Because if it's going to be a part of your business model, it needs to be steady money. The safe deposit box witnessing, how much of that are you going to do, right? How much of that is really going to happen unless and if, let me put a little asterisk, if you market to all of the banks in the county on a regular basis in an 8-week campaign, then I would say the safe deposit box flow would be there. But unless your marketing strategy is that, you don't want to mess with these that we're about to look at that don't have flow. Okay. So now let's talk about the ones that have flow, and we're going to highlight those, right? On the target audience of on the loan signings, what has flow? What flows without everybody knows it's flowing. Let's pick out which audience. Signing services, do you get a lot of car dealership hits, Maverick folks?
No, not too many.
Okay. Signing services, are they flowing? Are they busy? Are they sending out notifications? Is that a source of flow? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You see where I'm going with this? If it's not flowing, then and let's start at the beginning. You have a finite amount of funds that you're starting off with. You got all these choices you can go market to, right? But your funds are limited. So remember, I'm teaching you how to be a little fish in a big pond. So I'm going to teach you how to stretch the finite budget that you have the furthest. And so the way that you do that is, all of this is out there for you to target, but you're not going to target all of it. You're only going to target the ones that have flow. Okay. So that having been said, now that's what we're doing, because the next thing is going to be marketing to them. And that means spending money. So we got to be real specific on where we're going to do it. Who
Attorneys.
else? Okay. Who else?
The escrows and title companies.
Who else?
The builders and the real estate agents.
I was just gonna say the real estate. I don't know. The real estate.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm a broker. I've been a broker since 2013. So how long is that? This will be my 8th year as a broker. I have never once called a notary. I have always relied on the title company to figure it out. Okay. So when I got into the loan signing system and I was learning about how that was a part of the marketing, getting with real estate agents, and it is true, you can do that. You can get business from agents that way. But I'm telling you from the mindset of a real estate broker. I'm not worried about that. By the time it gets to that point, the title company is going to make it happen. So when I say flow, that means a source of constant business for you. Do you get a lot of those that are doing loan signings, or even hear about people doing loan signings? Do they get a lot of loan signings from real estate agents?
Not that I know of.
Exactly. So do we want to spend our finite marketing budget marketing to real estate agents?
No.
No.
Builders. Builders are limited by what? The land. They're not making any new land, right?
Right.
So builders are going to naturally be limited by what they can do, because not only is there not any new land, some of the land that's already existing has what? Buildings on it. So if my business model is loan signings, am I going to spend my marketing money on builders?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Okay. What about car dealerships?
No.
Okay. You see what we just did? What about lenders?
Yes. They call you, right? I think so.
I don't think that I've talked to a couple of lenders, and when I start talking to them about notary, when I was telling them about what I was doing, they are kind of like the real estate agent group. That doesn't bother them right now. That doesn't have anything to do with them right now. If you force the issue and you send gift cards and you spend some money developing that relationship, will you eventually get that business? Absolutely. But remember, little fish, big pond, you have a limited fund set up for your marketing budget, and you need what? Flow. Because every small business relies on cash flows. And if you spend your marketing dollars on a source of potential business that's going to cost you more money to get in the front end than you're going to get at the beginning, that's going to set you up for failure. What you want to do is, if your business model is loan signings, then you want to focus on the flow. And I think we've identified it here. Because these other ones, yeah, you can get loan signing business from them, but are they motivated to give it to you? Not for real. Okay. The builders ain't thinking about you. The builders are trying to build houses. They ain't got to the part where the closing has happened yet. Right. And if you notice, it's the people at the end of the process are the ones that are the most motivated to find you. The signing services, the title agencies, and the attorneys. So if you're doing the loan signing model exclusively, those are where you need to focus your business, your efforts, okay? All right, let's look at general notary work. Where is the flow? Where is
The hospitals.
Yep.
Tow yards.
Yeah. The assisted living facilities.
Is there flow at the assisted living facility?
I think it depends on the location, where you are, because I know a couple of other notaries, they get quite a few from the assisted living. Isn't that like the assisted living is something like the rehabilitation also?
Yes.
So yeah, they get quite a few from like the homes where the elder people at. So yeah, I would think so.
Here's what I was thinking about assisted living facilities. They're gonna, they're kind of like the banks. Are you gonna get bank business? Are you gonna get safe deposit box business? Are you gonna get assisted living? Yes. But if you talking about flow meaning that you could really not only get it consistently, but is it significant enough for you to, the signing service and the title companies, they're gonna send you, 10 files a week, let's just say. Is the assisted living facility gonna have that kind of a volume to it? Or is it's gonna be consistent? I'm not taking away from the fact that you're gonna get business there, but what is it gonna be? Is it gonna be that 1 or 2 a week? Could you really get 10 of those a week? Yes. If you did what? Market to a bunch of them, right? You can build a whole business around nothing but assisted living facilities. But does it have flow in and of itself?
Oh, I don't think it's gonna be that much.
I don't think so either.
Flow. I think it probably be probably a 1 or 2, no more than 3 probably a week, maybe.
Right. So since and here's the thing, y'all, just because we don't give it flow don't mean we don't love it. It's okay. We ain't got it. Just because we don't give it, turn it pink, it's still on our list, right? So when we start making those big dollars, we can come back and we can pick up those. But for now, what we're doing is we're identifying those that can keep us with some good cash flow every week. Because remember, this is general notary work. This is not, we don't have to wait 2 weeks or the second Tuesday of the next month following the closing. We don't have to do all that. This is where we really want to make sure we identify those flow businesses. So hospitals for sure, tow yards for sure. Where else do you think would be a good
Bail bondsman.
bail bondsman? because people are getting arrested every day.
Colleges and schools, because a lot of the kids, whether they're in high school or colleges, they need a lot of affidavits and everything notarized.
Right. Okay. Are you going to get a lot of business from banks? Flow.
Not really, because most of the banks have their own notaries.
That's right. Right. What about churches? Are you going to get a lot of flow from churches?
I don't know about the church.
Right. Right. So you see what we just did, right? Let's go down to the hybrid.
Monica, before we go to the hybrid, where would permit runner fall into place? Would that go under general notary work?
It would, and it would be under, right.
Construction, yeah.
But you know something? No, you're right though, Desiree, because I see where you're going with it. Go ahead and finish what you're about to say.
But when we think about the class that was just offered on the notary permit runner, she gave us several contractors like fencing, roofing, different places you can go to get general notary work done as a permit runner.
Right.
So should we include that under general notary work? And I don't know what the flow is for that unless you target that type of business.
So I think that's a very good point. And so for those of you guys who haven't taken the notary permit runner class, what Desiree is talking about is Miss Cynthia Alexander. She is a notary public out in Florida. She owns Senna Notary Group. She has created this notary permit runner, and construction companies is one of the entities that we are encouraged to market to our services. However, she provided us with solar panel companies, fence companies, and all these other different places that we could actually go and market to as well. That having been said, I'm going to put notary permit runner under here as a whole category of into itself and give it its own flow, because construction companies is its own thing, but the notary permit runner encompasses not only just the construction company aspect, there's so many other different HVAC, electricians, plumbers, and all of that. So thank you, Desiree, for bringing that up. And we're going to make it, because it's its whole own situation. Okay.
Right.
You can also put attorneys into the general notary work too, because that's what I'm going to target.
Absolutely.
And Monica, what about the ink fingerprinting? Because that's what, yes.
Let's talk about it, because technically is that notary work.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're right. Okay.
You see, but.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't need any, fingerprinting doesn't technically.
Correct.
You know what? And I'm going to keep it off because of that. Okay. And this is what we're going to do with fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is at the end of the month. It is going to be one of those things you can add to your list of services. So this will be your notary stuff, and then fingerprinting will be your other. Okay.
Okay.
So here we go. So are y'all ready to go down to hybrid?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So for hybrid, all I'm going to do is highlight the ones that we already know got flow from where we already talked about, right? That's going to be pretty easy.
No.
Uh-oh, I'm putting somebody on mute. Okay, let's see here. Notary permit runner. Oh, I forgot to add that right there.
I have a question. I don't know if I missed this. But a dentist, what can a dentist know? What does it be notarized?
You sound like me, Netta. The first time I learned about this, we were in a notary meet and greet call, and I think her name was Amanda. She was in Alabama. Anyway, she ended up telling us she had been, she wanted to do notarizations in daycares, and she was on there asking us about how to market. And she said she's been doing these e-pharmacy notarizations, e-notarizations or e-pharmacy something at these dentist offices. And I was thinking to myself, why are you trying to market to daycare centers? Because as she started to talk about it, she said that apparently dentists, I guess they get sued, or there's a lot of litigation, or I didn't really even know this, but there's a mediation thing, something that has to get signed that I don't know, it's something having to do with somebody wasn't happy with something, and there's some kind of arbitration type of thing and that happens a lot with dentists. The other thing that happens a lot with dentists is this thing called e-pharmacy or I didn't even know it existed, but she said,
So
yes.
that'll fall like up under an affidavit or something. They have to do an affidavit.
Right, something to that degree, right? But that they're authenticating that this is that person's prescription, but it's all electronic. So what she was doing is these two particular dentists she was working for, she was going there and she would do like 10 or 15 of these. And I said, what? And she said, yeah. So that's when we started talking about the dentist. So, will all dentists, huh?
So that's gonna be a class in April, right?
One of y'all got to go figure it out. Who's going to teach it? I have no idea.
Monica,
Yes.
Monica, it's not only dentists, it's all doctors. If you have a building with all the doctors' offices, you can market to them. That's what I was taught. And that I was taught that falling under assisted living.
Oh.
That's where I'm trying to market to also, Monica.
Oh.
So it's if you
Thank
have,
you for the
how they have like the
information.
Kaiser building and those building with all the doctors there. If you market to them, because all the doctors have these documents that some of them have to have them notarized every month. So that's where you will fall into that.
Oh, you just
Thank you for the information.
yes, Pamela.
Yes, that's a good tip.
You
Yes, it is.
you just changed the game, Pamela.
That's what I learned. That's where I'm trying to head. So I learned all of these things.
Wow,
That's a game changer.
that
Wow. Okay, we got to get that class taught too.
here's the thing, you guys. Let me say this because y'all are laughing and I'm serious. It takes about 6 months in this industry to become an expert.
Wow.
It's the only industry where if you get in and you figure it out, that the audience is big enough, the notarial entrepreneurial audience is big enough. You guys are in the notary groups, just like I am. How many thousands of people are you seeing in these groups?
Yeah.
So many, yeah.
Okay,
A
so
lot.
if you go out into your community, and this should be motivation for everybody on this call, if you go out into your community and don't make this hard, and you take that nugget that Pamela just shared, and you decide to take your marketing dollars and you focus it, okay? You focus it on just them. And that might be postcards or you taking donuts, whatever. We have to do things how we have to do them. But if you go out and you get what we call social proof, and that's where you were able to do it, okay? All you got to do is do it once or twice, good times, and come back and show somebody else how to do it, okay? And that's where you're going to get more capital to put back into your business so you can grow your business, okay? So when you're out and you're figuring out, how to go about, or if you're good at something, or if because you're in an industry, the notary industry, I got in the notary industry in September of 2020, okay? And now have a Facebook group with almost 6,000 notaries in it. Why? Not because of me, but because there is a need in the industry for what? This type of knowledge. The main type of knowledge that's out there is what?
Trial and error.
Well, when we all got into the notary business, what was it that got us in? What?
Okay, I work for myself, be my boss.
But what was it? How were you planning on making your money? What was the main type of way?
Loan signing.
Exactly.
Loan signing, yeah.
Exactly. And what's going to happen?
Nobody knows about any of this other stuff. That's what popped up. Everybody's looking to work for themselves. I was looking for how to make money for delivery driving, how to work for yourself, courier, and this stuff, loan signing came up.
Okay. So this is motivation. As you take this list and look and see who you're going to be marketing to, just know that every success that you get, everything that you do, notate your process, write it down, develop your training, because that's going to help somebody in a whole nother different state figure out how to not have to go back to work. Okay. Because loan signings are great, but they're attached to the mortgage market. And I've been attached to the mortgage market since 2004. I've been either on the lender side or the real estate side. And what I can tell you is the mortgage market does this. And when it does this, when it goes down, if you wait till it goes down to figure something else out, that's when you're in trouble. How do I know? Done that many times before. Okay. So what you do is while it's doing this, while it's up, you pile this up with a whole bunch of other knowledge. That way, when it starts to do this, that other knowledge keeps you here. And the mortgage market can keep doing what it's going to do, and you can meet it back here in a minute. But you don't have to take that dip if you don't put your whole business model on it, right? So that's why this is good. So let's finish looking at the hybrid. So we said loan officers, VA. So we said attorneys, we did that. Hospitals. Let's see here. Did we do hospitals? No, let's do hospitals. I'm gonna do that here. And then we've got tow yards. Did we do tow yards? Attorneys, notary permit runner, tow yards. And I think dentists, I think I changed something up here, assisted living facilities. I'm actually going to go ahead and give this flow, assisted living facilities and doctor offices, only just because of what Pamela said. Targeting the assisted living facilities by itself, I say no. But in conjunction with the fact that you know that they are actually probably getting help from a doctor's office somewhere, I would definitely put that on flow. Dentists, I wouldn't put on flow, other than if you're marketing to a whole bunch of dentists, like about 100 dentists, right, that you offer this service. But that's a lot of money to be putting all on one situation, right? So we want to find the ones between these. If you're doing the hybrid model, we want to find the ones, and let's see here, bail bondsman. We want to target our market, our monies on the ones that we're going to get flow from. At the beginning, again, we're not mad at everybody else. We come back to them, okay? Any questions?
Schools.
What was that, Antoinette?
No, it was Michelle.
Oh, Michelle.
Yeah, colleges and schools.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get colleges and schools. Okay. Now, we've got, so whatever your model was, now you know exactly who you need to target. Now, the next question is, how do you target them? Okay? How do you target them? How do you target, and I'll put this on a checklist, but I'm kind of developing this as we go. How to target your market. Now, my thing is going to be 100% start online, okay? And here's why I say start online, because that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Let's take an example. Who would we like to use as an example? Let's see here. Who we got on here? I got a whole bunch of people on here. Let's see who we haven't heard from.
Permit runner.
Notary permit runner, okay. All right, so this is gonna be like a little worksheet. So we got notary permit runner. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down here, you're gonna pick an audience from above. And in this case, Desiree says she wants to pick notary permit runner. All right, perfect. Now, once you pick the audience from above, you have to identify where are they located. All right. Because notary permit runner is all encompassing. So Desiree, give me some locations of notary permit running opportunities.
If you're in a city where there's a lot of construction or growth, I would say you might want to start with your, is it your state department or state office where the permits are filed? Or you can start somewhere online and see if there is a construction group on Facebook.
Okay. Okay, so let me do this. Let me just call it new construction, right? Because that's really what it is, right?
Right.
Okay. And then we said they could be Facebook groups. And we said, you said also going to the permit office.
Mm-hmm.
And even, where else? Just physically visiting, right? Because you can drive around, drive for dollars.
Right.
Okay, awesome. What other aspects of notary permit runner, what other where are the other notary permit runner opportunities located?
Your fencing, your,
Zoning is the zoning.
zoning, pool,
Roofing.
City hall. Is that like would go just under government building or?
Exactly. Because actually, you know what? Let me put it under its own thing. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Government offices. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Now, remember, we're looking for our audience. And in Notary Permit Runner, our audience are those individuals and businesses that would need permits. So our city offices, our government offices, are they going to be a good source for us to get business? Or are they just going to be more of a repository where we can get information?
A repository.
Okay, so they won't necessarily be a part of our marketing because we're just trying to find, now that we know kind of our model and who we're going to target, now we're trying to find exactly where they are, because now we're going to spend money. We're getting ready to spend money on them. So we need to know where we need to spend the money at. So
electricians.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to fencing companies. Let me hold tight on electricians. Let's go back to, okay, hold on. Let me put plumbers. I heard you. Hold on, I might need to add a column here.
and also we can probably Google My Business, a lot of these companies as well.
Okay. So, all right. Fencing company. So now, so these are several of the different ways that we can find notary permit runner people, targets, because that's a part of our audience. But we'll do the same example for another audience type in a second. So, but let's finish this one out. Okay, so in the new construction field, if we want to find them, we might be able to find them on Facebook. There may be some new construction Facebook groups. The permit office, now that we think about it, is that the best place to find them in an efficient way? It seems like to me you would have to go pull permits, spend a lot of energy and time trying to get their name and information, unless they could let you download.
We can't market to the permit office, right?
That's right. Let's take that out. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Now that we're thinking about it in terms of just trying to get to the customer, let's see here. What other way do we think we could reach to? Is that it?
You can go on Thumbtack and find, you can find companies there.
Ah, who said that?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Thank you. Okay, now let's move on. Fencing companies. Do we really think there's going to be Facebook groups for fencing companies?
Not really, but
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
But what you could do is possibly look at your Chamber of Commerce business directory to see.
Like it.
That's a good one. I like that.
I'm gonna take Yellow Pages out because I don't think anybody in the whole country got a Yellow Pages except for me.
No, nobody. Yelp. You can use Yelp instead of Google.
Oh, good one.
And Instagram also, because people are now. Yes, Instagram and TikTok. People are now posting their information out there as businesses, and TikTok is giving businesses like more credit to use towards advertisement. So you can go and check and see what fencing or roofing companies are out there based on their Instagram feeds.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how many fencing companies we're gonna find on TikTok though. I'm on TikTok a lot, and I'm gonna say with confidence that we're probably not gonna find them as much on TikTok as we probably would on Instagram. So I'm gonna save a spot for something that's more realistic. Where else would we find fencing companies?
There's a lot of like business, like people will list their businesses on Nextdoor.
Yeah.
And Thumbtack as well.
Well, what about, let's do this.
Angie's List, yep.
Why don't we just do that, right? So we get our bang. We're looking for bang, right? Yelp is going to give us bang. Instagram really.
But the next door is going to be free. Angie's List,
This is
you got to pay to
free.
list. Is it? Well, I thought if you're a business, you pay, right? Not if you're looking for them.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
But
So
the Angie List can give you the names of different fencing companies and contractors, electricians, plumbers. They have all of those services under their domains.
so what you're going to be is a little sleuth. You're going to pretend that you are a consumer looking for a
That's right.
this
And
and
they
that.
give you a list.
Right. And you're going to get you a little list going, because what you're going to do is you're going to take and start your database of whoever you're going to target to let them know that you offer notary permit running services. So Angie's List is going to work for all your trades.
Yep.
Right? What about the, I think the roofers, right? The BBB.
Yep.
They give you a lot of information at the BBB website. I think Chamber Business Directory flows over too on all of these. Actually, let me just, because I'm getting OCD here. Let me do this. You know, you're not going to find, and I think Yelp is, I don't see Yelp on I see more people using Yelp for food from where I'm at, but I don't know. I'm going to keep Yelp there. Instagram, I'm not sure, I would say across the board, everybody, but I definitely would put BBB.
Remember, she also said going to like Home Depot and Lowe's and all that to find it out from those people there.
Right, exactly.
That sort of falls under driving for dollars if you just happen to be at Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace.
Yeah, when you do your little pop buys and stuff like that,
The
right?
hardware stores.
Right. Now, see what's always good is to put all these things out there, but now we got to think about your life and what you're really gonna do. Okay. Okay. So all this is really well and good. We can make our little list and make our little table and fill it up. But now we got to look and see what are we really gonna do, and what we're probably really gonna end up doing.
For me, it's Angie's List, because I'm always looking for contractors to do some work at my house.
Right.
So I'm on Angie's List more than I am Facebook in most cases if I'm looking for a contractor.
I would agree with that. I think you should do exactly that. I think that for some of us, we are a little bit on the lazy side. Okay. And I'm gonna raise my hand. And I know that when I go to Angie's List, it's gonna take me a little time and work. Why? Because I'm gonna have to pull up a list. Matter of fact, we're gonna go look at one right now. And I'm gonna have to take the data and I'm gonna have to copy and paste it over to my spreadsheet. And I'm gonna have to create a database. You see where I'm going with this?
Okay.
Okay. And this is because I know I'm lazy. You ain't lazy like me necessarily. I know I'm lazy. So in my infinite wisdom about myself as a small business owner that needs to get this done, my marketing out, I am going to, what am I trying to do? Show y'all Angie's List. Because I can sell myself on anything. And that's one of my downfalls, is I can sell myself on anything. I can say, Monica, girl, Angie's List is the best place to get the information. You're going to use Angie's List. That's going to be the beginning of your marketing. You're going to go there and get all the information. You're going to put it in a spreadsheet, and you're going to call Quantum Postcards. You're going to send out your first mail campaign. And girl, you are going to do it. And then guess what? I don't. And I've done that time and time and time again. And so what I've done is, since I know that about me, I usually pick my marketing tool from the easiest way that gives me the most bang for my money, right? Because, I'm worth a little bit an hour. You know, and so I have to think about how much time am I going to spend. Now, not that I won't get somebody to do it, but I'm talking about if you are like me, if you hear yourself in my words and you know that you got a little lazy in you, and even though Desiree is right, the best way to go out of everything that was on that list was to Angie's list, okay? The best way to do it is to go to Angie's list, put in plumber, okay? What service do you need help with? I need plumber, okay? Let's say I wanted to find all the plumbers, all right? I want something that I know is probably gonna have a permit, right? So that probably is gonna be a well pump repair or service, or a septic install or replace, right? I want somebody who's definitely gonna need a permit. So let's start finding septic tank installation contractors. Perfect. I want them near me, and my zip code is 37127. Next. Install a new septic tank where one doesn't exist. That's the hardest type of thing, and I know there's probably going to be all kind of permits that need to be pulled for that.
Exactly.
Let's do that. So which of the following items do I have in my home? I just have everything. Even though that's the previous question really would have excluded that. I am planning and budgeting, because if you put ready to hire, they're going to call you. Okay, so if you don't want people calling you, you want to
all the time.
Right. Timing, here I would probably put more than 2 weeks.
2 weeks out.
Yeah. And then I would hit next. And what kind of location is this? Home residence. All right. Are you the owner? Now, if I really wanted to drill down to who I really wanted, if I got plumbers that were used to dealing on commercial business repairs, I'm for sure going to get somebody who's going to need permits run all the time, right? So I could probably check that and do well also. Are you the authorized owner? Yes, I am. Are you interested in financing? No, I'm not. Please tell us a little bit about your project, new construction. What's your project address? See? Now, this is what would make me get all deflated.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to give them all of that, right? So what do? I'm just going to have to put in my office. Now, for those of you who have a virtual office space or whatever, maybe you put in that. But if you put in your address or you put in something, you know, that's going to be a part of this marketing thing from here on out. I don't care if they send it to the office, but I just don't want them worrying me half to death. Let's see here, 37129 is the office address. Sweet eye. What is my name? Oh, here we go. You got to give something to get something. See how I'm getting deflated the further I go?
Yeah, I will be the same.
Okay, see, so this is why in theory it's good, because it does have what we need, but we're gonna have some things along the way. So let's go back to Facebook, okay? I wanna show you guys something, and I wanna show you where I recommend, because you know, I'm trying to get you the most bang for your buck, all right? Let me stop the share real quick and get where I need to go. Any questions so far?
So are they capturing that information even though you left it in Angie's list? Or how do you protect that information that they won't be contacting you? Could you still have it in your?
Yeah, I didn't hit next to finish it out, but in general, unless you are willing to give up something, they're probably, yeah. So that's the only thing about that. And you might be willing to give up something. That's fine. You want to give them, but I just, you know, I got a lot of stuff being marketed to me all the time anyway, and I just do not need another thing. So let me show you here what we've got on, where did I go here? Let's go back. Okay. So for those of you, hopefully on your Notary Business 101 checklist, you started on your Facebook page, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you have a business Facebook page, that means the second set of work, which is you know, identifying your customer, your audience, you can facilitate it from here. And now that's not to take away, let me get my list pulled back up. That's not to take away from what we have going on here on our list. Oh, it's on the same browser, my bad. Okay. I won't be able to put them up side by side because they're all on the same browser. Okay, this is what we're doing, folks. We identified, based on the business model that we decided, the target audience that we determined, of those determined which ones had flow. Now what we're doing is we're figuring out how to reach them. Okay, because pretty soon it's getting ready to be time to execute, meaning take your debit card out and run the numbers to that audience. And so you want to get it right. That's why you only want to pick the ones that make sense to pick. They're going to bring back the money. If you spend $10, you want X number of dollars back. And we'll talk about that before we get off this call too, as far as when you're doing your pricing and you see a lot of people asking about how much should I charge for what. What I want you to be aware of is that all of us have a minimum profit margin in us. We just have to know what that number is. For me, it's 35%. If I can't make 35% on my money, if I'm doing something, then to me, it's not worth a whole lot of time, right? So that number you can back in to your pricing, and we'll talk about that, not on this call. I'm going to talk to you about it, but we won't go in detail about it into the next one. That's just too much for this call. So, but what we've done is we've identified who has the flow, because again, we're a little fish in a big pond, finite marketing budget. We ain't got time to be just marketing to the churches and because it's comfortable for us, or assisted living facilities and get them 2 or 3 a week. No, we're not doing that. We're finding those pockets of money that flow, and these, the ones that are highlighted, are the ones. So for those of you guys who just popped in, now we're kind of figuring out, we're taking one of those examples, one of those flow examples, and we're saying, okay, where can I find them? And at first we had a whole bunch of different stuff on here, and these all are great, and I'm going to leave them, but they're going to require a little bit more time and effort from you, because you're going to have to physically go to the chamber or go get to the directory or pay someone to copy that information onto a spreadsheet or put it into your CRM, your client relationship management system. And for me, it's usually a spreadsheet. Okay. But you're putting their name, their numbers, their address, and all that stuff into that place. And then after you've done that, you're going to market to them. And usually that's going to be an email marketing campaign or a direct marketing campaign where you're going to send them something, or you're going to physically go there. So do you see all of those steps that you will have to do when you're doing this from a database? These are all databases, the ones I have highlighted. Matter of fact, let me just make it known. How do you format the cell? Okay. I want the cell to be formatted. I don't want the, there we go. Okay, perfect. Let me do that to everybody. These that are highlighted are going to be database driven marketing. Database driven marketing means that you will have to hire someone, or you yourself will have to take the time, sit down, and put the data where you need it so that you can later manipulate it. Okay? Not necessarily with LinkedIn and not necessarily with Google. Okay, yeah, well, you're still gonna have to put it somewhere. LinkedIn gives you a place you can actually do some marketing directly from LinkedIn, so I'll leave that one unhighlighted. Okay, so the ones that are highlighted in yellow are all gonna be your database driven marketing sources, or database driven marketing. That means work. Okay, that's all that means. That's not a bad thing. You just got to be prepared to cut out and carve out the time to get it done, because if you don't get it done, then you won't get the marketing out, and if you don't get the marketing out, then what?
You're not making any money.
Exactly. So the reason I harp on this is because I have created many a marketing plan for myself over the years in various and sundry ways, and I can create wonderful plans and put it all like this, but it's only the ones that you actually physically do that get you you see what I'm saying? So when you look at these highlighted ones, don't say, oh no, I won't. Just say, okay, I know that's going to take me a little bit more work, and I really want to get things going because it's end of quarter 1, and I really need to start. I've spent a lot of money, and I really need to see some money start coming back in. So the database method, I'm probably going to put that on the back burner. Instead, I want to focus my initial spend on something that's going to be more instant, right? And that's what you're going to look at here. These Facebook groups, that's free. Actually, no. I want to stop here. Someone mentioned Facebook groups as a good place to find these new construction people. However, I would say that if you would be better suited to create your own Facebook group targeted to that audience. I think that you're probably going to find you'll attract more of your target audience by creating a group for them. I don't necessarily think that they have out there groups amongst themselves as much as we might think that they do. Not new construction folks, okay? They could, I could be wrong, but think in terms also of you creating your own Facebook group. But all of that still is going to take work. The one that's going to be more instant is Facebook. And that's what I was about to show you here now. Okay, so with one of the audiences, which was plumbers, okay? Let's just say we wanted to target plumbers, and I'm going to just go to I'll go to an ad or a post that I've already made. This is why that first checklist is critical, because if you haven't checked off Facebook business page yet, that means you can't do this yet, right? You got the knowledge of who your audience is, but you can't market to them yet because you don't have a place to market to them from. That's your Facebook business page. What I want to do here is I want to come over and do a post from, do you guys know how to use Canva? Is everybody here pretty familiar?
Yes.
Go create you something on
Not
Canva.
yet.
Not yet. Okay. You want to get on Canva and start creating. You see this little graphic right here, Notary Public Business 101. This was created in Canva.
I got that, Monica. I got the Notary Public picture.
Okay, good. So you want to do that and create something that's maybe targeted towards plumbers. Okay. That's the first step. You got to get something to post. Then once you've posted it, then what you want to do is you want to boost the post. Now, you can only do that if you are on a what? Business Facebook page. And hopefully you've got your logo and your banner and your description and your business name and all of that stuff set up because you did that on the first checklist. So now you're ready. So you come over here and you'll see a blue button at the bottom that says post again, or I'm sorry, that says boost post. It says boost again for me because I had already boosted it once. Okay. Now this is the secret sauce. This is what we're going to wrap up with tonight. Okay. After I talked to you a little bit about the, what was that I was talking to you guys about earlier? Oh gosh, it slipped my mind. Anyway, I'll come back to it. There's one other thing after this, but you want to boost, you want to get good at this because the money that you would spend even going to the Home Depot, the time it would take for you, if you spend whatever per hour for a virtual assistant, getting all that data from all those database sources into your spreadsheet, then still having to manipulate it in some way by doing a mailing or an email campaign, add up all that time and money. For about $25 or $30, you can come over to Facebook and do what I'm about to show you right now. So you hit boost, post, and then you come over here. All right. Now, you have to be good at graphic design for this to work. If you are not good at graphic design and your stuff looks homemade, like this right here, then you probably want to go to Fiverr.com and have somebody make you something. They're going to charge you $10 or $15 or whatever. Pay the people. Okay. Because as a small fish in a big pond, as the CEO, the CFO, the HR, maintenance and IT and everybody all in one, you do not have time to be doing everything DIY. Okay. So you need to learn and be okay with spending $20 over here with Fiverr if that means that your marketing piece to your targeted audience conveys you as a professional and it gets it done in an expeditious fashion. The other database method is going to take you a week and a half, 2 weeks to even get the spreadsheet done, right? Because you're going to get distracted and do everything under the sun unless you got the money to outsource it. If you got the money to outsource it, get it. Go get it. Go get it done and have it ready, and then you can start executing. But that same money and energy and effort could be spent here. Hit boost, and it'll walk you through how to set it up. All you want to do is select your audience. You want to target plumbers, okay? Well, I want to choose the people. And so it'll ask you, people you choose for targeting? Yes, that's selected already. Audience, edit. Okay. How many plumbers are there more male or female plumbers?
Males.
Okay, let's just keep it real. We got a limited budget. We ain't got time to be politically correct right now. Okay. We got $20. We want that. We want every time you do anything in your business, you don't let any of that other outside stuff. Oh, I want to make sure I include everybody because there could be that one female plumber and she could be the one that we're not doing that. Okay. We are using common sense. And if we're targeting plumbers, we're going to target men because that's the most of plumbers. So then we're going to say, okay, well, age, should we go from 13 to 65 in targeting plumbers?
No.
No, we should not, because there's
No.
13-year-old.
About 30.
There we go. What do you say?
About at least 30.
I'm gonna say 35. Because if you've seen some of these 30-year-olds out here, they ain't got no trade skills like that for real. Let's go to location. So obviously, when I get to location, I can be specific. You can do zip code. I might want certain zip codes, okay? Or I can do cities. All right. And if you'll notice down at the bottom, it'll give you an idea of how many people would be in that audience. So far, the only thing I've selected is male between the ages of 35 to 65 within a 25-mile radius of where I selected. And it's telling me your potential reach for all of that is 1,200 people. This is so far, we haven't gotten to the plumber part yet, right? And I can tell you that that's already too small of an audience. So I'm gonna do one of two things. I'm gonna stretch it out, which means I might be driving more. I might catch a little Nashville in there. Uh-oh, I went up to 2,600 people. You see what happened, right? Okay, now if I had a signing service and I was just really bad to the bone, and I had a signing service and I got agents or notaries all across the state, then I would do that. See what happened? 9,000 people, all right? And I just happen to know a whole bunch of notaries in Tennessee, so I'm gonna leave it right there and hit save. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do, it says 9,600 people was in my potential audience group, just from those living in Tennessee between the ages of 35 to 65 that were male. Oh, wait, interest in notary or notary public? That's not correct. Let me hit the little pencil and fix that. Detailed targeting. This is where you tell Facebook who you want to reach. And when I do my marketing, as you can see here, hopefully you guys see some of my ads, I target people who are interested in notary, notary public, and demographics. That's different than interest. Interest is somebody just saying that, showing an interest in something on Facebook, but demographic is somebody that's listed notary public as their job. So when we look for our plumber, okay, see how my potential audience reach went up to 1.2 million? Now, but when we're gonna go up here and look for plumber, I'm gonna type in the word plumber. You see, now I've got plumber interest, I got plumber assistant, but the difference is demographic is much better than just interest. Interest is saying, yeah, I'm interested in it. Demographic says there's some aspect of my life, either I work as a plumber, or I am some kind of journeyman, some trainer or whatever, but I'm a little bit more further along. I'm a little bit further along than just being interested. When you see it say demographic, that's what you want. You also can put interest, but remember, finite money, go for the gold. You want your money to go where it's supposed to go, to the best of your ability, and stretch it. And when you have the option of choosing demographic or just interest, go with demographic. If you don't care, you got a nice size budget to play with, include everybody. Okay. So I'm gonna say I just right now just want demographic folks, because I want folks who are out there doing the work, that are gonna need notary permits run. I don't want nobody thinking about going to plumbing school and, none of that. Demographics, master plumber, bam. Let's see what else we can come up with. Plumber supervisor, Bam. How about this? Plumber gas fitter. I'm taking him too. Now, it's telling me something. It's saying, hey, wait a minute. Your audience is too specific for your ads to even be shown. You're going to have to make it broader. So I'm going to do something here. Let me go add plumber interests. That did the trick. I had all these demographic ones, right? But Facebook said, you know what? We're not going to even be able to show your ad because it's so specific. Where was that one I took off that? Anyway, I guess I got enough.
I'm a gas fitter.
Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Let me see. There he went. Okay, perfect. So I've added him back in. But what had to happen is, okay, you guys see here, right? 21,000 people. Facebook likes me now. Your audience is defined. That arrow is pointing, or that thing is pointing right there to the middle, and that's great. But when I take plumber interest out, what happened? Uh-oh, too specific. You need to add something. So I had to go up and add the plumber with the in the interest category in order to get my numbers right. Okay. So now I hit save audience. So there's 21,000 people that I'm about to send I'm about to pop up in their news feed. Now let me say something right now. This is going back to that DIY stuff. This is not the time for you to do a DIY. Because I have been doing a lot of marketing on Facebook, and people get offended when you pop up with something in their news feed that is to not their liking. So you're going to get that. But so what you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure you get it right. You want to make sure you go and you get a good graphic that speaks to the pain, of who you're going to pop up, because everybody has news feeds that are on Facebook. And imagine scrolling along and seeing something that looks either homemade or you don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to trust my septic permits to somebody who's put something in my news feed that doesn't meet the professionalism muster that I have, right? So that's why you don't want to DIY on this. Okay, you can DIY on some other stuff, but when you're starting to go to your flow, you're trying to get your flow, you want them to think you are a way bigger outfit than what you really are. And that professionally done graphic is going to convey that. Okay, that having been said, click out of there. You've saved your audience. It tells you about how many people you're going to reach. Now it's time to set the marketing. You can control how much you spend. You can control how long your campaign is, but it has to be a certain amount of days, because if you're only spending $10, it'll tell you, you can't just do that in one day. You might want to do it in 2, or it'll kind of let you know. But I would get a separate card for this. I would get a prepaid, because and set it up and put it here for your payment method. Okay, until if you have, because Facebook at the beginning when I started doing this, I was getting all kind of charges on it, and to this day I really don't know if they have ever overcharged me. But the one way that you can make sure that you don't get overcharged or it doesn't mess your account up or anything like that is to get a separate card, prepaid or whatever, that you can use just for your Facebook marketing. Okay, you can take that money out of your business account and you can put it onto that prepaid card, because it does get a little hairy with Facebook sometimes. And you can't really do anything about it once they start swiping it. Once you put your card in Facebook, and Google's like this too, it's a wrap, okay? Unless you change your card, things will happen, okay? So take that little piece of advice for whatever it's worth. Okay, so now let's just say I got a budget say I got a $60 budget. Now again, you might think, okay, that sounds like a lot of money, but just remember, how long would it take you to put that spreadsheet together from Angie's List after you went through and got every single one of their contacts? How long would it take for you to go scrolling through all the Facebook groups and finding out who's who and asking them for their emails and putting it on a spreadsheet? How much are you worth per hour, right? So you got to really stop and think, is it really a lot of money? Because the other alternative is, I would have to spend a couple of 2 or 3 hours getting all of this done, and that time, and I may not be able to get to it right away. So I'm losing time if I wait. Whereas I can come over here and spend $60, okay? And then and with going to Home Depot and all that, that's gas. And then when you get there, you're really kind of hanging out, waiting, or you're just talking to somebody. You're gonna have to write down the information they're giving you about who to talk to. You're gonna have to take that information back to your spreadsheet. You see what I'm saying? When you're a small business and you're trying to get your marketing out there, you want to go straight to it, and social media is going to do that for you, at least at the beginning. Okay, so you got $60 now. You're going to spend that, and it'll tell you estimated 628 to 1.8 thousand people being reached per day. This campaign is going over a 5-day stretch. I would not. You see here, I try to decrease the duration to 3 days, and it tells you ads that run for at least 4 days tend to get better results. So if it'll tell you when you're about to mess up, and it'll tell you when your thing is going to end. Now, the part that is the most important part out of all of this, and I'm going to take this off so y'all can hear this. None of this matters if your call to action sucks. Okay? You can know your business model, target audience, flow, where they at, everything, honey. But when you send your marketing piece out, even if it's professionally done, if your call to action sucks, they're gonna scroll on by. Okay? So marketing is understanding all of that, okay? And using it as a small fish in a big pond, using all of that knowledge to make that $60 go far. So you get your professional graphic done, and that call to action, an example of a good call to action would be something like, your first notarizations come with a free dozen donuts. I don't like giving away business, but I bring something to you to do business with me, right? I'll bring you a gift card, but you're gonna pay me for my time. Some of you may want to do that call to action that says your first permit is free, but just rest assured and know, if you do that based on what we learned in that permit running class, you might be giving away way more than you really think. Okay, so I want us to kind of steer away from that giving away free, but you've got to come up with a good call to action. I think that's probably where I would want us to do some type of an exercise. I don't want us to necessarily go into that right now, but your call to action needs to be something that you need to think in terms of that audience that you're targeting. It is a plumber. They need a notary permit. What do I need for them? What would be a good call to action for them that they would actually hit the button and say, learn more? Because you definitely always, this is something else I want to show you guys real quick. On, where did I go? Go back over here. All right. When you do here it is. You see this here? It says learn more. I learned this from a lady. Her name is King Ashley Ann. She is a entrepreneur on Instagram. She's a millionaire, and she does a lot of social media marketing and things of that nature. And she's not the only one that I've heard say this. You have options. You can tell this button to say buy now. You can make this button say sign up. You can make that button say subscribe. But all of the people I have heard say and always choose learn more. Can anybody guess why that is?
No.
Okay, because we're being constantly sold stuff all day long. On our phones, on YouTube, on the TV. Everybody is constantly fighting for our attention. Everybody wants to sell us something. So anytime we see a buy now or a sign up or a whatever, it makes it feel like we're about to have to do something that we don't want to do yet. But when we use the learn more button, that defense goes down. It doesn't seem intimidating. All it is learning. Okay, I will do that. Right? You see the difference? Y'all fall asleep on me? I knew I'm taking y'all too long.
No, ma'am.
No, we're
Okay.
here.
Let me ask you a
Okay. Okay. So that's the reason why you always and will forever select learn. I don't care if you are selling something. You don't put buy now, you click learn more. Okay. That's what they say do. So just go with what they say do. Okay. So now here's the deal. You're about to reach 781 people to 2,000 people a day. The only way this $60 is going to bring you money back is if your call to action is good. So with a plumber, they're going to probably be really crunched on time, especially if you're in Texas and you've got a lot of, FEMA and repairs and stuff like that going on. So you need to know your audience and what's happening with them so that your call to action will make sense. So my call to action in a place like Texas would be, I can save you time. And I don't know how Miss Cynthia does it. She has an actual phrase that she uses. I think hers is, we stand in line so you don't have to. Maybe use something like that, okay? As far as that goes with your call to action. And I'm probably sure she probably doesn't even mind, those of you who have taken her class. But the point is, your call to action needs to solve their pain. If you just do your little notary graphic and I'm a notary and you put that in your little boosted Facebook ad from your business page and it pops up in their feed and they're like, okay, great. Next, that's what they're going to do. Conversely, if you go get your graphic and that graphic has a picture of a plumber who's ticked off and he's looking at his watch and he's frustrated, and that graphic designer conveyed your messaging perfectly in this perfectly formatted design for Facebook, okay? And when that plumber is on Facebook scrolling, he sees that ad, he's like, what? I need this. Click. Now you got them, right? So you have to not only just know, you see, you it's a science. All of this builds on each other. You have to know who your customer is in order before you even start marketing to them. And that's where a lot of businesses mess up. They just spend a lot of money putting ads out about them. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm great. Oh, I'm this. But they don't ever stop and think about, who are my customers? What is their problem? How can I solve it with my messaging? How can my messaging help them know that I can help them solve their problem? That whole thing has to be a part of your marketing plan. Okay. So I said we do another example, and let's do that. We did Notary Permit Runner as an example, but let's copy this whole thing and let's do another one. Somebody else pick another category of audience. From our flow now, let me go back up so you can see. Pick somebody from the flow.
Attorneys.
Okay, let's knock attorneys out real quick. Okay, where are they located? Kind of the same, right? Okay, so attorneys, where are the attorneys? Bar Association?
LinkedIn is a really big thing for them.
Exactly. Let me go ahead and clear all this out. Where is my?
Just hit the delete button while you have them all.
But it wouldn't. Oh no, it took the whole thing away. Oh well, I'll just put another thing together. No problem. How many columns did I have? 5. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we got LinkedIn. And this entire block is for attorneys. So it's going to be a little different from Notary Permit Runner. As you notice with Notary Permit Runner, it's kind of going to be like Actually, you know what? Let me do it the same. Let's do this. What type of attorney are we talking about? Let's break it down, right? Because there's all kinds of attorneys, right? You've got
Real estate.
Wills.
there we go.
Oh yeah.
They all have different practices, right?
What is it? Litigation?
Litigation.
Yeah.
Are they gonna need notaries? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Bill? Yes, I did.
And criminal.
Yeah, and let's not forget something else that's really hot right now, even more so than criminal.
Trust attorney.
Personal.
This is
Estate
business.
planning.
Corporate.
Divorces are up. Divorces are up. I think I heard somebody say on the news, I don't know, they're up, okay? They thought there was gonna be a baby boom, but apparently there is a divorce boom. I guess people are
Too much togetherness.
too much togetherness. Not the right kind of togetherness, but divorce is up. And here at the end of the year, guess what else is gonna be up? When all of the moratoriums on, the COVID, they're not doing any foreclosures and evictions and all of that yet, right? They've put a pause on all of that until September of 2020. So everybody's kind of in a false sense of comfort right now because everything's kind of being propped up due to the pandemic. But what's about to happen and this is because I'm tuned into both the real estate market and the investment market. What's about to happen is all that stuff when it comes unpent, because we're kicking it down the road right now because we have to, right? We can't just let everybody, all the people who can't pay rent because their job doesn't have any place for them to do. You can't just, it would just destroy everything. So they have said, hey, no evictions, no foreclosures until September 2020. But guess what? September 2020 is going to get here. And those people who haven't been able to get back to work because the company they used to work for doesn't even exist anymore, or whatever the case, they're going to get evicted and maybe the other stuff is going on. So you're going to find a lot of bankruptcies that are going to come into play as well. So the notaries who focus on developing relationship with attorneys now will not feel a blip on the screen when the mortgage market goes down. Period. If you develop your attorney relationships now, and these different, not just any attorneys that, pick which, categories or whatever, but you will not feel a blip on the screen because they will be there and they will need you. Okay. Especially those of you who are doing Ron. Especially those of you who are doing Ron. So real estate attorneys, all of them are going to be able to be found on LinkedIn across the board. Give me some other places.
Facebook.
You already know.
Google.
Clubhouse now.
Ooh, that was a good one. All right, now which one of these are going to be our database ones? Which ones are going to force us, which one of these marketing methods are going to force us to take the time or hire someone to put whatever information we get from it into a database? Which one of these would we say are database driven marketing, like in this up here?
Bar Association, Google.
LinkedIn.
Monica, you can click that little symbol that's right next to the color, like up at the top where the A underline is.
This one?
That one.
And that'll get my cell highlighted yellow?
Yep.
Oh, it didn't do it. It just.
You have to select the cell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It only selected the actual word. So if I want,
sorry.
well, I thought it would work too, but if I want the cell, it looks like I got to go to properties and do it that way. Okay. So here again, folks, LinkedIn does give you some ability to market. So I'm going to kind of unhighlight LinkedIn because LinkedIn does have the ability for you to do some posting and whatnot there and some targeted marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and take LinkedIn off of the database thing. So really you've got, and I don't even like Facebook groups up here anymore, but I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. So you see how this is done? So
what about meetups and virtual meetups? Like what one of the ladies had talked about before, where you can go onto events or whatever.
Right.
You can do those specifically for attorneys and that kind of stuff.
And you know what? It's also something that you could create if it doesn't exist. So I love that for two reasons. One, because it's a great idea. Two, because if it's not out there and I create it and I start fostering those relationships in those virtual meetups, maybe do a giveaway or something fun for the attorneys to participate on on a monthly basis, so when they get to know me, I would be all over that because it's something that's easy, executable, and implementable without a whole lot of, because again, theory and putting stuff on here is one thing. Getting it done is a whole nother. So I want to put things on here that I know I'm going to actually execute on, and I'll be able to do so pretty easily because why? I'm the CEO, CFO, IT, HR. You see what I'm saying? So the virtual meetups, if I've got to do too much, this is the lazy me. This is a lazy person talking. I'm being honest. Okay. So if you're not lazy and you're saying, oh my gosh, that's not a big deal, I'll do that, then by all means, ignore what I'm saying. But if you get a little lazy and you like me, and I call it lazy, maybe I'm being a little too hard on myself, because don't get it wrong, I'm not a lazy person, but I know who I am when it comes to marketing. And marketing is the one thing that will kill your business if you don't get on it and do it. And if you know who you are and you know you're not going to sit at a spreadsheet and you know you're not going to go and cut and paste and cut and paste and cut and paste or compile a bunch of data and put it where you need to put it, then don't do it. Don't make the mistake that I've done over the years and say, oh, this is going to be a great way to market. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then never get it done. What I end up doing is going to Facebook. Why? Because however many 80 million people are on it already. They make it easy for me to find my audience, because I, as a small business owner, as a single member LLC, whatever you want to call yourself, whoever you are, you have to be as effective as with everything, your time and your money, as possible. And part of that is getting stuff done quickly and moving on to the next thing, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you got to do after you do this, right? So that's where I tend to come back to social media and just use that, because it makes the most sense. Now, if I had a budget of, I would never spend that much, but I'll just say I've spent $100 at a time, $200. I've spent some money, but to begin with, I would probably set my budget around 50 or 60. Because remember, this is just the plumber. So you went and spent $10 on a graphic for the plumber, $10 on a graphic for the roofer, $10 on a graphic for the solar panel companies, $10 on a graphic for this person. Then you come over to here and you spend 30, 30, 30 or 20, 20, 20, because you're posting those graphics in individual different posts, and you're boosting each of those and you're putting their own budget to work. So you can't tell me that if you do that, you're not going to be busy. You see what I'm saying? And that's just from the notary permit runner. We haven't even done that for the attorneys. We didn't even talk about the other people who are flowing, right? And every marketing message is going to need to be targeted to that audience. You're not going to get away with doing one graphic and letting everybody, the schools are going to respond to it, the bail bonds are going to respond to it, the tow yard. No, sis, that's not how it works. You're going to get a graphic for the schools. Matter of fact, you might even get a graphic for the universities that is going to be separate from the graphic from the K through 12 schools. You're going to get a graphic just for the tow yard. You're going to get a graphic just for the bail bondsman, right? So you're going to start, but the thing that's good about what you're going to do is you're already going to be ahead of the 8 ball. You know why? Because ain't no other notaries doing this. Period. Okay? You're going to be ahead of the 8 ball. How many notaries do you see marketing? Well, you may not see, because you might not be their end audience, but my point is, trust me, you're going to be ahead of the 8 ball. And not only that, all these other people we have on this list that we didn't highlight as having flow, a lot of times other notaries think about marketing to them. Okay. They're marketing to them, right? And there's nothing wrong with them marketing to them, but you're being a little bit more strategic because while you're coming from a business point of view, yes, I can get money from the car dealerships, but from a business point of view, are they going to give me my flow? Where should I spend my money? Where should I spend my money? I should spend my money on those things that are going to give me flow. If I'm looking to do loan signings, okay, I'm going to spend my money in the signing service, title company, and attorney arena. Matter of fact, if I really started to really think about it, I could probably just focus on the attorneys all day and do just fine, especially if I'm in an attorney state, right? So any questions? I know I'm keeping y'all, and I haven't got the list together, the checklist together. I'm going to get that to you guys.
I do, Monica. This is Michelle.
Okay.
So you had mentioned Canva at first as far as our graphic design. So are you suggesting now that we really just try to use Fiverr or someone else, or if we, like, I'm pretty good with Canva, like I've used it for my other businesses. So I'm just trying to see where I can put that money, that if I can really do a great graphic design, put that money more towards the boost for, so what's your opinion?
So my opinion is, yes, I did say Canva. Yes, you can get away with Canva, and on certain things, it would probably work just fine. The challenge is you only get one chance to make a good first impression.
Okay.
So if you do have a limited budget, by all means, do Canva. But the risk you run is if you do Canva and it does look okay, then you go spend a lot of money on something that looks okay. You see what I'm saying? So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you might be good at Canva. So here's what I would say: do always get some constructive criticism and put it in a place like the Notary Nerds Facebook group. Okay. and post it and say, hey, you guys, this is what I've been thinking of doing. And what do you guys think? And let us give you some constructive criticism, because we're going to give it from a place of kindness in our group. Whereas some of these other groups, they're not like that. Right. So before you do,
that makes sense.
Yes, don't spend money on Fiverr. Do that first and see what happens. And then again, for those of you who are thinking, oh no, I wouldn't want to put that in the group, then somebody might steal my idea. That ain't how we roll in Notary Nerds. Because that's why. We come from a place of abundance, and there's so much to be made out here. There's so many markets, so many different people in different cities, that it's just going to come back to you tenfold, So that's what I would do.
Okay, and then Monica, I don't want the group to be held up, but I do have a scenario that I wanted to ask you about as far as marketing with business cards and just getting my badge. So once you finish, if you can hang on for a hot second while I get your opinion on something.
You can go ahead and ask me.
Okay, all right. So how I stated in the first class, I'm gonna do hybrid, but I want to focus on general notary first, and then get the loan sign and do all of that. So my concern is when I build my business card and my badge, my ID, because I'm not showing my license to any of my customers. I'm only at this current state commissioned as a notary. So do you think I should just go ahead and get my loan signing agent, even though I'm not going to promote the business? Like, for instance, I can list a few things on my business card, the services that I'm going to do as a general notary, but I can put in more, but I can put also that I'm a mobile notary and loan signing agent. I just don't want to like build cards for just Notary Public and then 2-3 months later, when I'm really ready to add loan signing in, then redo a whole new set of business cards. I mean, so I don't know what makes sense.
Okay. So and these are good. So you're the CEO, you're trying to analyze what to do, make a decision on how to, okay. So when that comes up, and this is for everybody, does anybody remember? I don't remember if I said it in the last class or not. Let me see if I did. Does anybody remember what the first thing that we need to do when we're thinking about a business decision? Did I talk about that at all last time? I don't remember.
You said to make sure that we look at it like how the customer can look at it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. That's right. I didn't know if I said it or not. I'm so glad I did. Yes. So Michelle, to your point, So
Okay.
now we're thinking about it in terms of my customer. What would my customer like and need and want, and how would it be perceived by my customer? So on your business card, you want to make sure everything is, you want to make sure it's tailored to the audience that you're about to go after first. Who are you about to target first?
Okay, so the notary work, I want to focus on that first to get it kind of down packed so I can feel like, because I'm the type of person, I have different businesses. I'm a trainer, I'm a nurse. So I feel kind of, I like to not be perfect at something new, but I at least want to feel comfortable with it. And by me, you know, this is being new for me for being a notary in Florida. So I need to know the laws. I need to make sure the documents that I'm be notarizing, I need to feel comfortable to a certain extent, not perfect, but comfortable. So I didn't want to add right now loan signing, because that's a whole new beast, because I don't know about mortgage stuff or anything like that, and then get frustrated and overwhelmed. So I figured general notary makes sense to do that. And I'll probably get it down packed within like a month or so.
Right.
But the point is, I want to be comfortable and I want to focus on that first.
Right.
Because some people I know, they do the notary just to do straight into loan signing, and then they get overwhelmed.
Right.
And then get frustrated. So I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to just do general notary because that seems easier and more to get, focus on and then transition. So I didn't know what to market to, how to build my business cards. Should I do the loan signing as well, just to have it on there?
It sounds like to me, by the time that you need to get some new business cards and add loan signing, because it sounds like to me you're starting, you're going to be hybrid, but it sounds like to me you're starting out focusing on GNW.
Correct.
That's what it sounds like to me. So that being the case, then you are, since you want to get all your marketing to that end. So,
okay.
so that would be the answer to that, is that get your marketing to match up with your, right now, this is you, that second section. This is general notary work. So your business model, really, your real business model is general notary work right now.
Okay.
You could also do a digital business card as well.
Okay. Just to.
Okay. Yeah, just as a side thing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, babe. Okay, well, thank you, because I was toggling and I didn't know and I didn't want to purchase. So it just sounds like, and then I have to think of that, I'm a positive person, so I have to think of that, okay, in a few months when I'm ready to do transition to loan signing and add it as a hybrid combination, I'll be making enough money to where redoing, or adding that service wouldn't be a problem. I guess that's.
Exactly. And then the other thing too, Michelle, is those 500 business cards that you're going to be ordering with just the general notary work marketing information should be gone by the time that comes up.
Correct. Okay.
So it'll all work out in the end.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. I didn't mean to hold class up, but this been weighing on my heart, and I didn't know what to do, so I was excited for the next class so I can get input. So that really helped. Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Can I add something to that, Michelle?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Could you also consider just putting general notary? Just put notary public, and then that way, if you had some room on the back side of your business card, because if you just say general notary work, and as things evolve, you're going to want to change your business card and everything. You can go into more detail if you should. Maybe you can have people go to your LinkedIn profile to see updates for other things that you might be doing that you can add to without you having to change your entire business card. That's
right. I get what you're saying. And I apologize. That's right. I didn't mean to say that I was going to put general notary on the card. Yeah, I do have, because I already built the card. It does say notary public. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. So I am obviously putting together a little worksheet for you guys that will be uploaded into the course, along with the guys, the those of you who have put your email into the Facebook group. I will email you. I'm not sure when. It'll probably be here in a little bit, but I'm gonna get up and stretch my legs. Email you the checklist number 2, which I'm really still developing, honestly. I will email that to you all. So those of you who haven't yet taken the screenshot of your Notary Business 101 checklist and put it in the group, please do that. I'll find it. I'll email you the Notary Business 102 checklist. And in the group, in the course, there will be a worksheet for you to use to be able to download. So this that we've put together today will be put in as a PDF downloadable in the Notary Business 101 and 102 course that we have going on. So y'all be able to access that along with this replay, probably first thing in the morning. So give yourself time to breathe, okay? Don't go busy. It's Saturday, we're done, okay? We're done learning. We've spent a couple of hours learning. Take a break, okay? Go enjoy something else. And
Save the chat.
Save
the chat.
You know what? Be you in the save the chat. You are the save the chat queen. I was reading the chat the other day, and guess what the final words were from you?
Save the chat.
Save the chat. Y'all,
I put those links in there for you guys, so they're pretty easy to check out too.
Okay. Let me make sure I realize that when I do save the recording, the actual chat gets saved. So, oh, Vanessa, no, I didn't get your text. I just realized that you sent me something. Hold on. Is it something I need to know right now? Let's see here. Okay.
No, I sent it, I think it was yesterday. What's today? Saturday?
Oh, me. Okay. Oh, here you are. Okay.
But it's not about marketing.
Oh, okay. I see. I got it. Okay. Yeah, I haven't delved into that with him yet. I haven't delved into that with him yet. Yeah, we're getting ready to do. Yeah. About the print scan. Is it something you want to talk about today, or what? Tell me.
Do you have a minute or no?
I really don't, but I'll make one.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I really don't, but I will make one. I'll make it for you. Want to do it after we get off the call, or you want to do it now?
We can do it after the call.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody else have anything that they need or want to talk about before we conclude the call?
No, ma'am. When will our next class be? You have an estimate?
You know what? I'm not really sure. Is it 3 weeks since we did the last one, or was it 2 weeks? Let me look at the calendar.
It was 2 weeks, I think.
I think we probably need to do another one in 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, because I think doing it too far out, you kind of lose your momentum a little bit.
Right, I agree.
So let's do another one in 2 weeks, and then that way we'll be able to kind of do exactly like we did, have some accountability from this checklist to the next one. Okay. So, okay, that's it. Oh, you guys, have you guys all signed up to be affiliates yet? I want you guys to know.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. I thought I did.
Okay, so that's the thing I'm going to be working on this afternoon, because I committed to getting that out this week. I finally got commitments from 2 instructors that I was waiting on to open up that $97 per month membership, the fingerprinting, and the Georgette is doing the women-owned certification.
Government contracting, women-owned.
Yeah, women.
The veteran-owned.
Yeah, so she finally has got that done, and he's finally committed. So I'm opening up that, and I didn't want to roll the affiliate program out until those were out there. So now that those are out there, my evening is going to be nothing but affiliate programs. So you guys go relax and relate and release, and you'll be getting an email from me this weekend with your links so you can start doing your thing. Vanessa, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to go outside and sit on my front porch, and we're going to talk. Everybody else, give me some time to put all this back into the course. Go enjoy life. Okay. Thank you very much for being a part of the class, and I will talk with you guys soon.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Good evening.
Bye, Mimi.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Have a blessing.
You too.